Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and a new episode or a new series that is going to be all about hydroponics and fairies. The reason for this is that all the plants that you see on the screen, the fairies used to love to play in, and I could get photographs of them in those plants. But unfortunately, all of those plants that I had in my living room just a year ago have died due to fungus gnats. And if you don't know what fungus gnats are, look them up. If you think that growing a plant is just a matter of buying it, replanting it, watering it, giving it enough light, oh no, there is so much more to it than that. And I lost everything except for one aloe vera plant and one bamboo plant. When you get a message, as I did, about doing something, and in this case it would be hydroponics, you tend not to ignore it. I felt like it was the fairies coming to me and saying, okay, we need someplace to play again. So the story behind that is a hydroponics video came on my YouTube channel things to watch. And I thought, okay, I'll take a look at that. So I took a look at the hydroponics and I thought, you know what? I can do that. And I also saw something called an arrow garden, which allows you to plant a good number of different herbs or vegetables, whatever you would like to, in it, and it's a contained system. I thought, well, that was kind of cool, but they're really expensive, so I think I'll just start out small. So I showed my husband the video that I had watched, and I also showed him the arrow garden and said, maybe someday. And he went and he got some basil seeds, some mint seeds, some sage, some tomatoes, so that I could start sprouting some seeds. I had a small container, which you'll see shortly, that I started basil seeds in, and basil is very easy to grow. It is up in like a day doing it in the little container that I used to sprout them. The very following day, in the mail, I received a gift from my brother and his wife for Christmas. And when I opened it, it was a Tree-Con hydroponic system, okay, which you will also see. I never spoke to my brother about anything concerning hydroponics because the idea had just popped into my own head through that video. So in a day's time, basically, I was given the go-ahead by, I'm going to say, the fairies, the unseen realm, the spirit world, whatever, that this was a good idea to start growing our own food. So what I'm going to show you in this video is an introduction to how I'm starting this, and we'll cruise along with it a little at a time to see where it goes, because from what I understand, you start with hydroponics, it'll be kind of like what you see on the screen right now. It just keeps growing. So let's take a look at what happened and what is happening. So this is the little container. As you can see, it says basil, December 3rd. This is what I grew the 6 little basil seeds in to get them started sprouting. And it's just a matter of putting a wet paper towel in and placing the seeds on top of that, and then putting some heat on them. And it takes no time for basil to actually sprout. I had to remove 2 of the little basil plants and pull their little roots right out of the paper towel carefully so that they did not break. So if you want to start seedlings, this is a great way to do it. If you have no other means, such as rock wool or anything like that, you can sprout seeds this way as long as you have a heat source. So this is what my brother gave me, the indoor LED hydroponic system, and this is the user manual, and this is what it will look like once you have things in it. And here it is. Sorry for the brightness of the light. So this unit holds 6 pods, which means you can have 6 different kinds of vegetables or herbs, and it also holds 2.5 liters of water, which is a good amount of water. Shouldn't have to top it off too often. And inside it has a motor, and these that you're seeing are net cups that come with it. Has a motor in there that keeps the water circulating. It's 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off, so that mold does not grow within. And the seeds are planted in kind of like, I don't know, they're long triangular, almost like rock wool, but not. It's for planting the seed in. Anyway, I have some basil growing here. I have some sage in the 2 center ones, and I have some mint in the end ones. There's the sage starting. And that one, I don't have anything yet in the sage. And the mint is really tiny, tiny seeds. And I'm just starting to see those. So I only have 1 out of the 6 pods so far that is not actually coming up yet. I'm hoping it will. It's the sage, and we use a lot of sage here at home for cleaning our air. So those 6 pods there, each one is under a cup, and that's to keep the moisture in. Eventually those cups will be too small and I'll have to remove them because the plants get too tall. But for now, that keeps the moisture in and helps the germination of the seed, as I was talking about with the little container that I used. So this is a self-contained system. It is amazing. And it works just like my little container there worked. So you can actually begin germinating seeds either way. This container actually came from Dollar Tree, and it comes in a package of like 10 of them. So if I had 6 basil plants, what happened to the other 2 that didn't go in the hydroponics self-contained system? Well, here they are. And they are sprouting up nicely too. I have actually placed them in rock wool and put them in net cups. And then I have a little setup for them with heat. Just heat. It doesn't have a grow light. Eventually they will, but I let them sit in front of this light for about 14 hours a day. I kind of sync them up with the automatic system that has a syncing of lights on its own. I think it's 14 on and 10 off. So this is where these guys sit. And eventually, because I have put them in these net cups and in the rock wool, they will be easy to transfer to a larger system because basil requires a lot of room. And as you can see, I just keep water in the bottom of that cup. I've added a little bit of aquarium rock so that the roots have some place to go if it gets that far before I actually put them in the larger container, which is actually a Maxwell House plastic container. This is already food grade, so it is good to use for these. And the net cup sits right in the hole that I cut, and I will put clay up and around the plant to avoid any mold. Fill the water up to the bottom of the net cup inside, and it will be a self-contained hydroponics system. So I've made up more than one of these, and as you see, there's a hole in the lid. And here is what the hole is for. It is a dowel rod that will check the water levels in these for me. It is my water gauge, and the simplest way that I could think of to actually create something like this so that I could keep track of the water without disturbing the roots. Now here is another container, and in this I am actually doing tomato seeds, and I did 3 heirloom tomato seeds, put them in on the 4th of December, and I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with them. So they're in there with the paper towel, and I had covered them up a little bit, and if you look closely, you can actually see that they have cracked open. So hopefully we will see some tomatoes. Tomatoes take 7 to 14 days. I've covered them up again, and I'll put the lid back on because that's what contains the moisture and allows them to sprout. You want them to have condensation in there to keep moist, and you don't want the paper towel saturated. So now the hydroponics self-contained system, the Tricon system, has a light that actually I can raise up as the plants grow. I won't do it right now, it takes both hands. It also has 3 buttons, one for herbs, one for vegetables, one for flowers. They do require different lighting, so that's what the difference is for those buttons on the top. So this is the start of our hydroponics and fairies. I'll keep you updated as I see things growing and have something of interest. Take care.